Hey guys, welcome to the Envelope Home official channel, and my name is Phavors. So, as you can tell, this is going to be a bit of a different video. I'm currently recording on my laptop inside of my room, which has horrible lighting, but it is what it is. So if you guys cannot tell from the title, this is my first ever online interview. Obviously there were a bit of, bumps in a row, like the audio. It's pretty bad from my end. You can hear a lot of distortion, but overall it was really great talking to him. It was definitely a great experience, especially as it is my first ever interview. And yeah, slight disclaimer of a thing, there is very slight profanity in this from Bill's side, so I apologize for that. Cussing is just it's a norm these days, so I'm sorry if that makes you feel uncomfortable. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this interview, and bye bye. Hi.
Alright, hey, how's it going?
I'm fine, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for asking me to do this.
Thank you so much for actually accepting the invitation. So,
Yeah.
So, would you like to introduce yourself to your audience? Yeah.
My name's Phil. I'm in Phavors, a music group. Phavors with a PH. I live in New Jersey. We just started releasing music this year, 2020. And yeah, I write all the music and lyrics. I play the instruments on it, and I sing some of the songs as well. And yeah, I guess that's all there really is.
Well, I think I've been following you since you've had around 200 follows on Instagram, and it's amazing to see your growth in the past couple of weeks. Like, you've been gaining so much recognition. Like, it's amazing.
I didn't know you were following us for that long. That's really awesome. You're a real fan. You're one of the originals, and that's really cool because, yeah, I remember when we had like 200 followers. That was how did you find us? That's crazy.
It just came on my feed. Like,
wow.
I was just scrolling through my feed and I found you guys.
That's sick. I'm really glad you found us. That's crazy. We're almost now we're close to 3,000.
Yeah.
200. That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
cool. I love to hear that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, so since I follow you on Instagram, I also posted on my story that I want some of my own followers to ask you some questions. So I got a lot of responses, which was amazing.
Oh,
Sorry
cool.
about my
Good.
And, yeah. So I'm gonna be reading a couple out, and yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so the first one that came up was, what made you want to produce music?
Yeah. Music. Wow, that's a big one. I started with music when I was 7. I'm 25 now. So when I was 7, I started playing drums, and then my dad got me into it. My dad got me into guitar playing too, and I played in bands and all this stuff. And over the years, I always just wanted to be an artist, like a music artist, always, ever since I was a kid. And as I got older, I kept, playing in bands and doing more stuff. And then I remember I was in a band and we were recording at this studio, my friend's basement. And I remember just thinking, producing looked so cool. He had his computer, the big screen, and all these cool microphones and all this cool gear. And I knew I wanted to do that. So after I graduated high school, I took time off of school. I worked 2 jobs just so I could save money and buy a bunch of recording gear. And then I just started doing that. And also, I want to give a shout out to my former teacher, Christopher Hensel. In high school, he taught us a music production class, and that really opened me up to it. I remember I took the class, we did GarageBand, which is all on the Mac, and I fell in love with it. I just loved it so much, and yeah, I just kind of knew it's something I really wanted to do.
Were there any rough patches or like any bumps that in the road while you're achieving your dream?
Uh, oh, I'm sorry. Well, what was that last part? While doing what?
While trying to achieve your dream, which you are doing now.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. Oh my God. A lot. A lot of the rough patches are mental, a lot of them are like, oh my God, I've spent this much money on computers and recording interface and microphones, and I'm still not sure how to get this to sound right. Or, oh man, I want to start making my album now, but school is so exhausting, and I can't find motivation, or other life. A lot of the rough patches are just like trying to get the right headspace and mindset to be able to sit down and do this kind of thing. And what eventually kicked me in the right direction was when I was finishing my degree at Berkeley College of Music online. The final project was to produce an EP, and I was like, that's it, this is me, I'm forcing myself now, I'm doing this. And so I did 3 songs, I graduated, then I worked on those 3 songs a little more, I added a 4th song, and that's the EP that's on Spotify and everything now. So, yeah.
What's the meaning behind your name, Phavors?
Phavors is, well, it's, with Phavors, I kind of just realized, first of all, I love how it sounds. I love that it's just one word, I just love it. But a big part of Phavors is that I just truly believe that every life, every person, ever, everyone receives some kind of favor in their life at some point, whether it's one favor or millions. It's usually, thousands throughout your life, I'm sure. And no one gets to where they are without some sort of favor, It's always some kind of favor. It's some kind of generosity. Whether someone's being generous and teaching you their knowledge, or someone just does you, we've all been there where someone just really does you such a great favor. And I can pinpoint favors people have done for me in my life that have, changed my life for the better. I don't know where I'd be without them today. And I just think it's great to be generous to others, but also at the same time, what's actually more important than that is to be generous to yourself, because I notice a lot of people, it's common for us to put others before ourselves, which seems generous and selfless, because it is, but you don't want to make a habit out of neglecting yourself. And I think sometimes people, at least I remember I felt that way, where for a while I didn't, I wasn't fully in tune with myself and my emotions and loving myself. I realized, wow, just as I do a favor for a friend, I need to do to myself as well, and I need to do what's right for me. So that's
amazing. So another question I got was, if you ever do get very, very successful, like millions of international fans, do you ever plan on doing a tour?
Millions? Oh yeah, totally. If there were millions, I would love that. Well, you're from Pakistan, right?
Yes.
That's great. I would love to go to Pakistan. I would love to, because actually, we have quite a few fans from Pakistan, and I know someone was sending me videos of Pakistan and how beautiful the country it is. India is another big one too, and Indonesia, Brazil. But yeah, I would love to. That's part of the dream, just getting to travel and see the world and meet people, meet fans. Yeah, we're quite a while from millions of fans though,
yeah.
But yeah, for sure.
So when did you start songwriting?
The earliest I can remember me writing songs, I was 14. I don't think I was very good at the time, and then I joined a band. I wrote a song. I thought it was good, and then I joined this band and saw my friend Matt Fernicola write songs, and I was like, oh my God, my songs suck. This guy's so good, and because of him, I got a lot better at songwriting. I don't know if he realizes it, but I remember I would look at his chords. He'd show me a song he wrote, and I'd go home and play it and be like, oh my God, so that's how he did it. And then, then I would just take influence after many people, and so when I started really, really writing songs, I was probably 17. Yeah.
Do you remember the lyrics of your first song?
I remember some actually, yeah, and they're bad. Like I only know a few of the lyrics. I'm not even gonna say them. They were so bad. I remember that song. I had gone through a breakup, and I wanted to make like a heartbreak song because I was so sad. It was like my first love dumped me. I was miserable, and I wanted to show it to her. So I wrote these pathetically super awful lyrics, and then I scrapped the idea. I didn't do anything with it.
Honestly, I can relate to that so much because I'm a writer, and like looking back, like even a year ago, I cringe so hard and I delete everything off my laptop. Like, why did I even think about writing that? And why
You
did I
know
even
that
think I was good?
that's scary because yeah, I think that's something. First of all, what do you write? What kind of material do you write?
I like write like basically everything. I've written poetry,
Oh,
novels, short stories, some that I dabble around
you
everything.
you've written novels, like
Not
entire
not
novels
not like
before?
entire novels. I've started a lot of projects. Yeah.
That's so cool that you set out to start that. That's really interesting. Wow. But yeah, I know what you mean. Where you know, you're talking about like a year later, you look back, you're like, oh my god, this sucks. You
Yeah.
know, and
Honestly.
it's funny because I was thinking about this the other day. It's kind of weird. We're like, does it suck, or did you just outgrow that moment? You know, whatever you're feeling in that moment. Like I feel like what you think might suck. Like if you think you write something you think it's terrible, there might be other people who are in some position in their life that could look at your writing and be like, "Oh my god, I needed to read this," or "I love this."
Yeah.
And like,
Honestly.
because you know, like a lot of artists, what they do is they'll write something and it's never good enough, and they scrap it and they scrap it, and they never release anything because they like something at one point and then they outgrow it. But like, I feel like if you liked it at one point, then maybe just other people can enjoy it. I mean, I get it. You can't put out everything
Yeah.
you write. You know, that would be insane, and not everything you write will be good. I feel like that's just normal. That's how it is for all writing. But I want to read some of your stuff. Can you, after this, can you send me
Oh yeah.
some of the
Sure.
things you've
Sure.
written?
Yeah.
If you're okay with that,
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
like to read
definitely.
it.
Yeah, I had
Oh,
like
I love
an
poetry.
entire thing out for like a good 2-3 months, and I recently just shut off Linkshare because I'm hopefully getting it
Ah.
published soon. Like we're
Oh,
in the
okay, that's
talks of
good.
it and stuff, and yeah.
Wow! Oh my God, that's so
Oh,
cool.
thank
Yo,
you.
all right. Maybe I'm gonna interview you one day then, if you like get published. And all right, if you have millions of followers, are you gonna do like book signings all across
I
the
would
world and stuff?
honestly love that, but
Yeah.
like I'm still in the 8th grade, so it's kind of
Wow.
hard to just think about that kind of stuff just yet.
Yeah.
But like I
Damn.
do have a lot of stuff planned out for my future, but I know it's all fate and stuff, and not everything goes out as planned.
Yeah. Yeah. Eighth grade. Wow, that's crazy. Good for you. You're doing it at such a young age. That's awesome.
Well, I have been writing since I think I was like 6 or 7 years old.
Wow,
Like
that's
before I
awesome.
could even remember, I've always been writing.
Yeah. That's great. Good. Keep doing it. Don't ever stop.
So, what's your favorite song at the moment?
Ever?
Yeah.
At the moment, like, I keep coming back to this song "Selfless" by The Strokes. That's a newer one they released in 2020. I don't know. I just love it. That's just such a perfect song. I couldn't believe how good it was, and it has everything, and the lyrics are great. And I think what I love about that song too is that I don't know if you listen to Strokes, but for those who do listen, you know that the Strokes have really kind of like selfish lyrics a lot of the time. Not selfish, but like angsty, you know, like I don't know, lyrics that are kind of like complaining almost. And I like that. I think they're great. But this is a song that was, the singer took a different route where he's finally just like talking about, kind of putting someone before himself in a lot of ways. And I thought that was really unique. It was like a mature song for them, I think. I don't know. The lyrics are great. The music is great. I love it. I hum it all the time, and it came out, I think, in April. I'm still humming it. You know.
Do you get any inspiration from Strokes?
Yeah, totally. The Strokes are they have some of the best melodies, at least in my opinion. Just how he sings the melodies, how he's so daring with them. Um, it's not like a traditional, not like traditional, but it's not like a, it just doesn't seem like a typical attempt at a melody whenever he puts something out. It's always something like, it's, whether it's exaggerated or if it's drawn out more, whatever it is, however you want to describe it, it's unique. And I think it's some of the prettiest melodies. Even though it's in rock music, it just has such a pretty sound to it. And the Strokes have definitely helped with making melodies, for sure. Like, I remember once I started listening to them, that was actually a big part in my writing where I felt like I was being more connected and in tune with, you know, a bunch of my songwriting and vision. So yeah, definitely.
Do you take any inspiration from other artists?
Totally. Bon Iver, a lot of inspiration from Bon Iver. Sonically, you know, he has great productions, great arrangements, and his songwriting format too is awesome. Also, Sigur Rós is a huge one. They're awesome, sonically, and just how being daring. And also Radiohead. Love Radiohead. They're super unique. They have a lot of cool, weird sounds and stuff. I think they're great. I have a question.
Yeah.
The washing machine just went on. Can you hear that? Is that a distracting noise? Because I can
No,
move.
I can't hear it.
Awesome.
But can you hear like the distortion and like from my side?
I hear a car honking
Yeah,
every
I
now and then,
live
and that's
right-
okay.
My bedroom is right next to my terrace, and I live in a very crowded city.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. So, what type of instruments do you play?
Mainly guitar. Mainly guitar and bass are my main instruments. I play drums as well. Drums is actually the first one I ever learned. But guitar, drums, and bass. I've been playing a lot more piano over the recent years. I have quite a few keyboards now that I love. And I play ukulele, kind of. I mean, you know, I don't really record or write with it, but I do play that. Also, I have a trombone. I haven't played it in a long time, but I kind of want to get back into it, maybe record with it. But I totally see producing as its own instrument too. I like weird sounds. I think that's like its own instrument, and that I like that because it's so open ended and there's so much. It's like always changing. It's always growing. Technology's always changing, so that's a big part. But when I'm writing my songs, it's usually on guitar.
Cool. So what's like the main guitar you use, and which one would you recommend to young artists?
You know, actually, it's right here. This guitar, I go to bed with it. I'm always in bed with it because I have this thing when I go to sleep. I always want a guitar in my bed because there's a lot of times I wake up and I dreamed a song idea, or I'm like, you know, like half asleep, and I just hear this song playing in my head. I'm like, oh, and I always think, I'll remember that, and then I don't, and I get so mad. Like if you're a writer, maybe there's times like, oh yeah, I gotta write that down later, and then you don't, and you're like, oh my god, what the hell was I thinking?
And like when I do write it, my handwriting is like the most disgusting thing in the world, and I can't even read it, and it just goes down the drain.
Wow, that's funny actually. Yeah, you should definitely just type it on your phone just to be safe, I feel like. And that's what I do a lot now. What I do is I take out my phone and I go on my voice memo app, and I'll be like half asleep in it. I'll just be like super tired and like just like singing it so half-assed, and like I'm like, okay, I got it. And I close the phone and I put the guitar next to me in bed and I go back to sleep. But this guitar actually I've had since I was 15. This is really cheap. This guitar is like $80, insanely cheap. Some of my guitars are worth like, you know, over like $1,000, and this one's like $80, and I just love it. It feels so great. It's so warm. I'm gonna record with it for sure. I even performed with it. I just think it sounds great. So for those, I'm sorry, your question was for those beginners, what guitar should they get, or any
for like
stage?
starting with music.
Yeah. So starting, it depends what you're into. It's like sometimes you can get, like, I don't know, some people say you need acoustic. I don't actually believe that. I'm a guitar teacher too, and I don't think you need to start with acoustic. I just think you need to start with whatever it is you want. So if you want to start with if you want to start with an acoustic, I recommend like this one, a Yamaha or a Fender. Those are great beginner acoustics. Electric, I would say Epiphone or Fender are really good Fender Squires are really good starting guitars. But yeah, it's all about, if you try to go to a guitar store, it's all about the feel. It's all about the feel. Pick up a bunch of guitars in your price range, and when one feels right, you'll know. You'll be like, okay, I want this. It's not about the looks, it's about the feel. So that's totally, I recommend.
This is kind of like completely diverting from what we're talking about. But like, have you ever dealt with mental health?
Yeah, every day. Yeah, I have something called purely OCD, which is just like a form of OCD. And yeah, totally. I take medication for it, and yeah, it's anxiety, for sure. Definitely from ever since I was a kid, as long as I can remember. Yeah.
So like, before you started taking medication, were there like any serious issues, or like how did you cope with it?
Well, there's a lot of unfortunate events that happened in life. Anxiety was something that I just kind of coped with, and it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was pretty bad at times, but it was manageable still. But then it got to a point, the anxiety got really bad from life events. There's an alcoholic in my family, and that really also timed with another bad event. It just was like a recipe for mental health disaster, and I was just freaking out. And so I had done a lot of things like meditation and therapy, and those things are priceless. Those things are great. Anyone struggling out there, whether you're medicated or not, please give those a chance, especially therapy. But it got to the point where it was so bad that I did go on medication. And to be honest, looking back, I don't know if medication was necessary. I think it was just I had to change my life situation, because after changing my life situation, it got way better. Yeah, so that's what I
So like, if someone who can't exactly afford therapy or afford medication, what message would you give to them?
Well, yeah, I'm very fortunate where I'm able to afford those things, and it's so sad. I do wish there was universal health care in my country and all countries, and everywhere. It's a shame that there isn't. It's a huge error made by humans. But for those who don't have access to health care, to medication, or therapy, there's a lot I'd recommend. I would say, one, try to eat as healthy as possible. Try to get some kind of exercise. Not so much, it doesn't have to be rigorous working out, but maybe like go for a walk every day if you can. Get outside. Nature is super important, in my opinion, to helping us attain stillness and balance. I'd also say read. There's so many. Actually, one of the biggest things that helped me was this book called Dare, the new guide to ending anxiety and panic attacks. I think it's called Dare. Like, one of the best things for me. It was a book. I paid $20 for it. You could probably find it for free somewhere online if you're good at that. I'd say just keep an open mind. With mental health, one of the biggest things I found is you have to keep such an open mind, and that can be hard because a lot of times mental health can make you feel like you're trapped, or so just surround yourself with good people. And the biggest thing above all is just love yourself and be patient with yourself. You have to love yourself, and I think a lot of mental health can be stemmed from or worsened by not loving yourself, and it's hard. It's really hard to love yourself, but you can do it. You have to work at it every day and be patient, because there are some days that'll feel like setbacks, but recovery isn't a linear process. Treatment isn't always like every day is better than the last. Some days you feel like $1,000,000, other days you feel like shit, and that's okay. But just keep an open mind. Use the internet as much as you can. Support groups like Reddit. On subreddit, there's usually a subreddit for your exact problem. and don't be afraid to realize. I think what a lot of people have trouble realizing is that sometimes mental health can stem from a lot of things in life, things that you are very much afraid to face. Whether it's, say, a bad relationship you're in, a family situation that you're not a fan of, and sometimes recovery and fixing these things means some pretty drastic changes that, a lot of us might be afraid to do. So, sometimes it'd be a little daring, but it's tough. But keep at it every day. Just come with some kind of daily routine.
This is actually a question from one of the Instagram questions, but how are you doing now, like at this very moment?
Now, pretty good. Yeah, I'm doing quite well. It's pandemic, so I'm super thankful. I'm a teacher. I teach virtually. I have plenty of students. I teach music lessons privately, one-on-one sessions, and I'm so thankful for my students and their families. They're just the nicest people, and just knowing I have that, it feels good to be financially secure during a time like this. I also live with my cousins and my uncle, and ever since I moved here, it's just been so much fun. I've just been so much happier just being in a much better environment. And I play a lot of video games, and I love video games. The new Mario games just came out for Nintendo Switch, so I've been playing that a lot. But yeah, no, I've been feeling great. Yeah.
So, again, one's completely diverting from what we were just talking about. But do you have any other music in the works?
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. Yeah, working on a lot of ideas. I can't really say exactly what it's going to amount to. I'm still trying to think of how it's even going to be released, whether it's an album or an EP or just singles. I have no idea, I kind of might have an idea of what direction it's going to go in, but I have to kind of wait until the music is closer to being finished where I can start realizing the project as a whole. But yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff in the works. So many things in the works of all sorts. Yeah, and hopefully, I have no idea when it'll be released, but I'd like to release something, I don't know, relatively soon. And I don't know when that'll be or how, but you'll hear about it for sure. I'll go crazy on Instagram when that's coming out.
So how would you exactly describe Petals?
What, the song or the EP?
The EP.
That's a really good question. Thank you for that. That's a really interesting question. It's so simple yet so big. I've never been asked that. How would I describe it? Wow. I don't know. Very personal, yet I think can be really relatable to a lot of people. Very, I don't know. I think I'm very biased, I love it. For me, it's just like for me it was such a big thing in life. Something where ever since I was a kid I wanted to release music, and then I finally got to do it. So, to me that's just like such a milestone in my life, just such an accomplishment. I'm really happy for myself and proud of myself, And it was a lot of things. It was overcoming a lot of hard things in life at that time. It was also overcoming an artist's fear of like, should I release something? Should I not? I know musicians who rarely release anything because they're always afraid it's not going to be any good. And I'm happy that I was able to actually release something. That made me feel good. But yeah, it's, to me, what I really like to think of Petals and Phavors as, and in music I've always loved pretty music, like the prettier side of music. Like I love those bands, like all kinds of bands. They have awesome songs, like it could be rock bands, like they have these awesome cool songs of like upbeat or hardcore or whatever. But on the album, somewhere on the album, whether it's the last song or somewhere deep in the album, they have like that one sweet song that's just so pretty. It's more gentle. It's their softer, more vulnerable side. And I love that because these bands are known for being like, like hard rock or whatever, and then they always have that kind of thing in there still. And I loved that. That was my favorite thing about music. And that's why I love bands like Coldplay, because they had a lot of songs like that buried in there, just deep, beautiful, sweet songs. Songs that didn't really make sense. Like songs that you knew, like, this can't be on the radio. This would never be on the radio. But they did it anyway. And that was always my favorite side of music. And with pedals, like when I write any song, I want it to give me that feeling, or at least close to that feeling I get from listening to one of those pretty songs, those deep kick songs. So I like to think that this EP, every song had that same kind of prettiness to it, I guess, you know. And that, so yeah, that's a big thing in my songwriting. I want to make sure it sounds warm and pretty. At least for now. Maybe one day I'll make some crazy stuff. Who knows?
So what's your favorite song off of the EP?
Pedals. Yeah.
Pedals.
Pedals is my favorite. That's without doubt.
And what do you think was like the most tedious to like actually even think about just putting it out to the world?
Waste time. That was a pain in the ass. It wasn't as big of a pain in the ass as I was afraid it would be. Oh, you know, maybe Home was. I don't know. I'm gonna say Waste Time just because I remember mixing that was hard as hell. That was a really big job. I mixed all of it by myself and I mastered it too, and that was a pain in the ass. But there's so much stuff going on Waste Time. And also, realizing that song was very difficult. I started writing that song almost, I think like 3 years ago. I think I was 22. Yeah. I was 22 when I started writing that song. That's right, because I had one of my guitars. Oh, back to our other question. Seagull is a great guitar company, and they're a little affordable. They're quite affordable. On my birthday, when I turned 22, I went to a guitar store and bought myself an acoustic guitar, because I never really owned one. I never really owned an acoustic guitar, despite playing guitar since I was 9. And I was like, screw it, I'm owning this guitar. And on that guitar, I wrote Waste Time. I wrote a bunch of folky songs, and Waste Time was one of them. And I started recording it 3 years ago. So a lot of what you hear was recorded 3 years ago. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to leave this alone now, because I don't know what to do with it. So really, I kind of sat on it for 3 years. Part of it because I guess there was that fear in me, like, how am I going to finish this? This song is so open-ended. And eventually I figured it out, which I was really happy to do. And that was good too. And that's good advice for other people as well who are writers. And you know, writers like yourself are like, sometimes you're not sure how to finish something, and that's okay. Just keep at it, you know? Instead of chasing like the finished product, chase whatever it is in the moment. Sometimes in the moment it's like, crap, I gotta get this bass line to sound right. Or, okay, I gotta make the drums. What are the drums gonna do? If you just chase that specific task, whatever you're feeling in that moment, do that, and eventually the song will be, you know, will come together, or whatever you're working on.
So are there any songs that you really wanted on it, on the EP, but you're like, I'm not gonna do that. I don't think the world is ready for its awesomeness.
Yeah, awesomeness. That's a great word to use, because I don't think I would use that word. For me, it was like, well, it started with 3 songs, and then I added a 4th, because the 4th was Water is Still, and that was made during quarantine. And it's funny, that song is named Water is Still because of my cousin. He had a dream. He was like, in my dream, that song was called Water is Still. I'm like, alright, I'm naming it that. That's hilarious. But, no, I've had a ton of song ideas on my computer that I've been working on, and on my phone. And some songs that were like, definitely could have fit in the EP, but I just didn't want to. I was like, you know, it's my first release. I want my release to be a single and then an EP. Like, I didn't want to come out with an album first thing I did. That's way too big of a task. And I don't think that should be your first thing. I think your first thing should be something that's like under 30 minutes, you know, so people might have the patience to listen through it. You know, you don't have a reputation, so it's like you kind of want as many people to listen to as much as you can without overwhelming them. If you give them a whole album, there could be songs that people never hear on it, you know, or people do hear just a couple. And it's cool to start with just a few, because you can give those songs so much love and attention, and the fan base gives them that attention too, which makes me so happy. And it's really cool. You know, that's why I'm kind of tempted to just release EPs, because I could just release 3 or 4 songs at a time, and just, I know people give them a lot of attention. But a part of me wants to release an album too, because I love albums. But I don't think there were any songs for this EP where I was like, I want to add this. This EP was kind of like, you know, it made sense to me. You know, the 4 songs, I was like, this is what it needs to be.
How big do you want your fan base to be? That's like a really weird question, but
No, that's a good question. That's a really good question. That's a lot to think about. As big as possible, really. Just because I want music, I think music is meant to be heard, and I just think music can be healing, and I think, I mean, we all have those artists in our lives who are like, oh, I'm so glad this music exists. And if Phavors could be that to people, that's awesome. And I want it to be like that for as many people as possible. And or it could be background music for people, or it could be a song in a commercial. I don't know. Like whatever function it has is, I want it to serve. And that's what's beautiful about music or art. As a poet too, people can read your poetry and be like, oh, this is a nice little pretty thing. I like that I read this. And other people could change their life. It could be the thing they needed to read in that moment in their life. You've been there, I'm sure. You read something, you're like, oh my God, this is like, it's speaking to me, and it's so powerful. So really, I want it to be heard by as many people as possible for the hopes that, one, it can be healing for people, and it can be heard by a lot, and hopefully it could comfort people or just be a song to people. And two, so I can make more money. That'd be great. If I can make a living being a musician, that'd be awesome. And I would love to pay it forward too and go on tour and all that and put out more music for people and all that stuff. But I guess I wouldn't it's not like I'd want to be like a Kanye West where like the whole world is watching me and everything I do there's like a news article about. That kind of stinks. But I'd like a bit more of a background life. A behind-the-scenes life where I could like come out when my music's out, do stuff, but I can retreat to like a normal life too whenever I want. Where I feel like stars like Kanye West and people like that can't do that, which is really sad. I think everyone deserves that, has a right to privacy and to just kind of be their own self. So yeah, millions of fans, that'd be great.
how do you think your music is different from other artists?
Well, that's it. I guess there's some artists it's similar to, but I guess there are many artists it's different from, and I guess it comes down to a lot of things. I like this saying, "Serve the song." My cousin says it a lot too, who I live with here, and I love that. My thing is about serving the song, doing what the song needs. And I'm afraid that not many artists and songwriters do that. I think too many of them, how do I put it? They make a song what they think others want to hear. They try to predict what people want to listen to. And I think that's a mistake. I think that's a big mistake. I think you need to serve the song, because if you ask yourself, instead of asking what do people want to hear, you ask yourself, what does this song need? I think that's a way healthier approach. Because one, you're probably going to naturally tap into your own tastes, and that's what you have to do. As an artist, you have to find what you're good at and tap into that. So if you're not good at writing pop songs, then, that's probably not what you're going to do, and that might be a bummer to some people. And who knows, maybe you can work at pop songs like crazy and get good at it. But I think it's better to just do what you're naturally good at and work on that and get better at that, because that's what makes you unique, So I guess what's different about my music is that I like to be daring with the sounds. I like to make weird sounds, like Waste Time, like the chorus of Waste Time has all these weird, glitchy sounds, because I love that. I like contrast, I like how I can have a song like Waste Time. It's acoustic and gentle, and then there's, boom, all these synthesizers and reverse audio and all this crazy stuff. I love contrast a lot. I like taking songs in cool directions and pulling back to the original thing. Even like Home, I like, there's that wall of sound in it. Yeah, I don't know, I like that question a lot. I could talk about that for a long time, I think. Like too long, I think. But yeah, that's a good question.
Okay, so this is the last question for the interview.
Okay.
How far do you think Phavors will reach? Like how far in the future?
Wow, I don't know. That's a good question too. These are a lot of good questions. These are like therapeutic questions almost. These are like I don't know. I like that. This is good. This is something people should be asked, like to help envision their artistry and stuff. But I don't know. I guess like to be generous, to Phavors. I would love within a few years to see us at like, I don't know, like 50 or 60,000 followers on Instagram and Spotify, and, you know, maybe, I don't know, 20,000, 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. Basically at that point where like you can do little tours around certain countries, depending on where your demographic, where I can do like couch living room tours, where I can tour around with an acoustic guitar, playing people's living rooms, and get to know people, and do small tours in America. That's like, in a few years, I would love for that to be the reality, and I think it could be possible.
Yeah,
You know, like I don't want to like.
Considering the growth of how fast it got to 1,000 plus followed on Instagram.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope, and it's, I get like afraid to say that because I don't want to like jinx it, but I don't know. I'm hoping, I want to keep working hard at it, and I want to make sure that that is possible, and that's a lot of work, but I love doing it, so hopefully, even if in a few years it's half of that, that would still be fine. I would love to make music for the rest of my life. And whether I'm working some other day job and I just still release music on the internet from time to time, or if I make it my full-time thing where I can go on tour and sell merch and, make my living that way, whatever it is something I want in my life always.
I definitely do think that you can achieve that very quickly.
Thanks so much. And I'm going to remember you because you followed us at 200 fans, and that's crazy. That's seriously blowing my mind. That means you followed us back in like February.
Yeah.
Like a long time ago. Yeah, it's October now.
Yeah.
That's when our first release was in February. Yeah, those pedals. You're the realist for that. Thank you so much for supporting us this whole time. Seriously, I really appreciate that.
I feel like you find those like little hidden gems like deep into the internet, and you just like automatically just fall in love with everything that they do.
That's super flattering. But yeah, that's what I love about social media, even though social media can be bad for a lot of reasons, it can help you find like that specific thing that you like. You don't have to rely on the radio or TV anymore to find what you want. You can go look for it. And sometimes, like you said, it just shows up in your feed. I found crazy good musicians on Instagram, or artists, visual artists, poets. Oh my god, like where I'm like, oh, this is a goal. It's like a modern day library for all things, and it's free. You're just like, yeah, this is okay, this is cool. It's free. It's in my hand. I can look at this whenever I want. It's in my pocket. It's so cool.
Yeah. So thank you so much for taking the time to actually talk to me.
Yeah, no, thank you. This is so flattering and humbling. This is so great. And whenever you want to do this, I'm down. It's a pandemic, and it's gonna be one for a while. And I just kind of sit around and play video games. So, but no, for real though, thank you so much. This is I love doing this kind of stuff, and it's super flattering. And thank you to all your followers if you're watching for asking your questions. I'm glad. If you guys want, ask me. DM me whenever you want on Instagram. Talk to me. I love talking to fans. Whatever you guys want. But yeah, thank you so much.
In all honesty, I didn't actually think you'd reply to my DM.
Really? That's so funny.
Because
I reply to pretty much every DM I get. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Like half the time I'm DMing my sisters and they don't even reply to me.
Well, your sisters sound really funny. I reply to pretty much every DM I get actually. So yeah, I was when I got that message, I was super happy. I was super excited for that, really. And I'm glad we got to find a time that worked. And I think it's so cool that you're in Pakistan right now, and I'm in New Jersey. That's blowing my mind right now. Like I love that. I love connecting with the world, and that's one of the coolest things about this whole journey. Just connecting with so many people in countries I've never been to, thousands of miles away, having conversations with these people, video chatting. It's just like, it's the best. It's so cool. I love it.
Definitely. So yeah, thank you so much once again. This is
Thank you.
an amazing experience. This is literally my first ever interview, and I'm still a really, really small YouTuber.
Really? That's
Yeah.
well. I'm gonna share this on my page like crazy, and you're great at interviewing. You should do this
Thank
more
you.
often.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying right now. I'm trying really
Really?
hard.
I couldn't tell. You seem totally outspoken. I think you're doing a good job.
I'm dying on the inside. No, honestly. Okay, so the reason I'm in a completely different attire in the intro and in the actual video and right now is because I forgot to film an intro and an outro while I was actually filming this. It's great. So yeah, this was definitely such a great interview, such a great experience, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. It definitely helps a lot. Comment down below what artists I should try to reach out so that I can interview them as well. I'm definitely trying to use different software. And if you guys want a part 2 to this interview, because I definitely had so much fun talking to Phil, and he seemed really down to also do, a part 2 to this. We actually talked for like another 15 to 20 minutes after like the recorded interview because it was like really fun. And yeah, like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below what your favorite part was, what artists I should try to reach out to, and if I should do a part 2 of this video. I'm basically just repeating what I said just right now. Share this video with your family and friends if you like to do so, and subscribe to my channel. It does not take that long. And also just press the notification, the bell icon. I cannot speak right now. It's currently 9:20. I'm a bit tired right now. I've been up all day. So subscribe to my channel. It doesn't take that long, and press the bell icon so you'll be notified every single time I post a new video. And yeah, I'll be linking my social media down in the description. My Instagram, Wattpad, Tumblr, Pinterest, and Spotify, which you can stream my playlists. They're pretty great playlists. I listen to them on the regular. I do not like it about me today. And I'll also be linking down all of Phavors, all the social media that Phavors owns, Instagram, Spotify, and all that stuff. Because I do not follow him on everything because I don't have every single normal social media, as you can tell. And yeah, definitely check him out. Definitely great artist, great music. Petals is it's a great EP, so if you guys want to stream it, definitely check it out. I'll be linking it in the description as well. And yeah, remember, we're all home here, and this was Philip Home Official signing out. Bye bye.